Hello and welcome to another episode of the Magic Hour. I'm your host, MagicLeb, aka MagicLeb. Be sure to follow me on my Instagram at Fame Film Agency and click that subscribe button on my YouTube at MagicLeb. Today, my guest has sold out the Moray Theatre. He has he had his show Pappou across 4 continents and got distributed on Amazon Prime and Apple TV, if I'm not mistaken. Then right at the peak of it all, everything fell apart, in which he went silence for 10 days, which is very hard for any Greek or Italian to do, at a meditation retreat, which later came to be his newest show, The Divine Comedy. Please welcome straight out of Locash to the Magic Hour, Mr. Anthony Locascio.
Hey.
How you doing?
What an intro.
Thank you.
That was unreal. That was unreal.
Now, how much of that did I get right?
Somewhere between 80 and 85%.
Well, that's okay. That's a passing grade.
That's really good. That's a high distinction at some universities.
Yes, it is.
That's pretty good. I love you did it wrong, but I like your way better. You called it In-Sultan Theatre, which is gorgeous. It's Enmore Theatre, right?
Enmore.
But no. But you pronounced it like
an Italian.
Like Dean Martin, that's Enmore.
Yeah, because I when I looked at this, right, I thought it might have been an Italian-made theatre, because Enmore sounds boring.
It is.
Enmore.
So Enmore is a suburb in Sydney.
I did not know that.
It's purely representative of the suburb. Enmore Theatre is the Greekest place.
Okay.
It's like, so once upon a time, Enmore Theatre was the only place in Sydney that showed Greek films, as it operated as a cinema. So all the Greeks knew Enmore Theatre. And then Enmore Theatre turned into more of a live performance place in the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. This will need to be fact checked, but this is the law as far as I know. And then Enmore Theatre became the hub for the longest running live stage show in Australian history, none other than Wogs Out of Work.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's where it was, brother. It was at Enmore Theatre. All of our buddies.
Yeah,
that's where they were.
When I had a podcast with George and James, we talked briefly about that.
Yeah,
how the Wogs Out of Work was at the Enmore.
James probably pronounces it Enmore as well.
Probably. I mean, he's very, very. You can tell how proud he is of his Italian roots and heritage.
Yeah, you can.
I mean,
you can.
I mean, his father's name was Sebastian, if I'm not mistaken, and he had an Italian theatre.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, James grew up in the theatre.
Yeah, so of course, he's going to put some pizzazz into it, which is great.
Are we going to talk about James for the whole podcast?
Absolutely
I'm
not.
happy to. I don't mind.
Absolutely not. No, he's already taken enough airtime. Sorry, James. Next time. Now, are you a fan of the movie CB4?
CB4?
Yeah.
I've never heard of CB4.
Okay, the only reason why I asked that is because your nickname is Locash.
Yeah.
CB4 is a movie starring Chris Rock. It's an early 90s film. This was during his early Saturday Night Live period. And straight out of Locash, he plays a character who wants to be a gangster rapper, but he's not a gangster at all. And there's a real name gangster who's played by Charlie Murphy. His name was Locash.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh,
now Locash.
My God.
Locash, who's played by Charlie Murphy, he's got like this rep that he's a tough guy, dangerous dude, gangster, don't mess with him. But he ends up in jail. So Chris Rock takes his identity, takes the name Locash, starts a rap group which is a parody of NWA, that song Straight Outta Compton. All right. In the movie, he goes straight out of Locash. Crazy motherfucker named Gusto. Actually, his name was not Gusto. It's just like the band name was Locash, kind of thing. Or where he was from was Locash. So you called yourself Locash, my first thing is, he's probably watched CB4. You
have given me such a precious gift today. Because, no, unfortunately, Locash is just a kind of hyphen, like a abbreviation of my surname.
Okay.
Some of my friends, Locascio, some of my friends used to call me Locash.
Uh-huh.
And then I attempted to write that on social media. Before I became a comedian, I thought Locash, write it like that. And then people were like, Locash. And I just went, okay.
Okay, see, I thought it was either CB4 or that you're very broke.
The second one is true, but that's tangential. That's not that. It's chicken and egg. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I am an artist after all, working in Australia, so there is that. But I'm gonna go and watch CB4 like yesterday. You know what I mean?
You should watch it. It's very funny. CB4 is a abbreviation for cell block 4.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
So theoretically, both Charlie Murphy and Chris Rock adopt Locash as their name in this film.
If I'm not mistaken, but now that I think about it, he goes straight out of Locash. Maybe Locash was a place.
Okay.
And Gusto, his name was Gusto. It's all coming back to me now.
Okay.
But the name Locash was in CB4, and you hear it plenty of times.
I am blown away. This is. We could just cut the podcast here, man.
You know what? Let's
Because
just watch the movie and we'll come back after 2 hours and continue.
I've gotten everything I needed to out of this. Now I'm going to do so much with this, just so you know.
Yeah, no, and it's a funny ass movie.
My next show is going to be called CB4.
Yeah, and Phil Hartman's in this film as well.
Oh.
If you like Phil Hartman,
I love Phil Hartman.
He's in this show. In the movie, and I think Alan Payne is in the film. Charlie Murphy. And a few others that I can't really recall. And cameo appearances from all gangster rappers like Eazy-E, Ice Cube, Ice-T.
Are you serious?
No, they're all in this film. They're in the early 90s. They came up with some great gangster movies and great like black comedy movies. We had Who's the Man, which is a very underrated film. Not many people know about it. But it had so many cameo appearances from so many rappers and stars in it.
I assume CB4 is not Spike Lee too, though.
No. Spike Lee is an artsy type person, man.
Well, no, hang on, because he had what's the movie with Giancarlo Esposito?
Do the Right Thing.
Do the Right Thing. Do the Right Thing is this kind of movie adjacent.
Yeah, but Do the Right Thing is an amazing film.
It is.
One of the reasons why I love that film so much is because every single character, whether they are the lead or the small parts, they all have a specific goal they want done by the end of that day. There's a reason why that film is done in a 24-hour timeline.
There's nothing like a film where you watch it and if you're discerning enough, obviously, every scene, every action, every cut in the scene contributes to the narrative in a very crucial way if you allow it to, right? It's why The Godfather, the first one, is the best movie of all time. Because every single thing that happens, like, okay, second major scene, they meet with, I know I'm preaching to the choir on this one. So I saw the thing when I came in, so I know I'm in.
What he's referring to is My Godfather picture signed by Al Pacino.
Yes. So I know that I'm in safe territory going into this. But the second scene where they meet up with Sollozzo, right?
Yeah.
The Godfather doesn't want to get into drugs, right? And there's a moment where I think it's Fredo pipes up in the middle of the conversation, and basically Marlon Brando
Santino.
It was Santino, that's right. It gets a bit hot. It gets a bit hot and heavy, that's right. It's a bit hot and heavy to ask him a question, and he tells it, and in the moment, he just calmly simmers him down, continues with what he's doing, and obviously then later he says the line to him, what is it, like, never tell anybody outside of the family what you're thinking again, right? But in that moment, in that one action, one piece of acting between Marlon Brando and James Caan, the one shot where he's just gone.
Yeah, it's the look that he gives him as well.
Gives him a look. In the look, it's like, you better shut your fucking mouth right now. The look that James Caan gives to the Godfather goes from, hey, hot and heavy, young star, Godfather son, bam, to I'm sorry, dad, little boy, immediately.
Of course.
It gives you, in just one fucking little action in one scene, it gives you so much story.
Yeah.
And that's everything in The Godfather.
Of course. This is cinema at its finest.
Yeah.
You know, the attention to detail is, what's the word I'm looking for? It's just
it's a masterpiece.
Perfection.
It's absolute perfection.
Oh God, I can't even find the word that I want to say because the movie is so perfect. So I have to find the perfect words to describe almost the perfect movie.
It's the benchmark. Yeah. It's the team to beat.
Yeah. Immaculate. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for.
C'est magnifique.
Yes, magnifique. In more.
In more. That's in more.
How are you feeling about this World Cup, man? Being half Greek and half Italian, I'd ask who you're supporting in the football, but neither of them are there. Now, so who are you hoping to win in the finals?
Well, I mean, this is going to come out the day after the final, right?
Yeah, it's going to come out on Tuesday. But
yes, that's the day after the final. So the final for us in Australia, it's 5 a.m. on Monday.
Okay.
This is going to come out the day after the final.
Okay.
So basically, I'm about to look like an idiot.
Uh-oh. I think I know what's coming. What are you going to say?
I don't know.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why.
Who do you want to win? It's not about who. We're not making predictions.
I also don't know who I want to win, and I'll tell you why. So obviously I was supporting Australia throughout this World Cup. Now I should preface this by saying I am a recovering football addict.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is I used to use football. Like, I love it. It's one of the great passions of my life. But I was definitely using it as a coping mechanism. And to the degree that when I came out of my meditation course that we'll, I suppose, chat about at some point, which you prefaced in the intro, in addition to a lot of other things that I had been using as coping mechanisms, whether it's nicotine, alcohol, weed, video games, football kind of ended up being one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So I just stopped watching or caring about it in totality.
Wow.
And I was listening to 6-7 football podcasts every day, brother. So it was a complete departure. And most people that know me personally are like, what happened? What do you mean you don't watch football anymore? And I stopped. The World Cup is obviously the relapse of all relapses. And it started when I was in Europe. So there wasn't going to be any resisting. I also like, and it's similar to alcohol. Like, I don't say that I don't drink anymore, but I like to have, I'm in so much more control of these things that used to be coping mechanisms for me. Now I have a great relationship with all of them. I do it when I want, and I'm in control, and I don't need to not. Having said that, I watched England play against Croatia in Istanbul, and there was a moment of euphoria. I've got a pint in one hand. I've got a argile stick in the other
You
hand.
smoke argile?
In Istanbul.
Oh, of course you do. Yeah, of course you're in Turkey. Yes, of course.
Bring the faham, brother. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Let's send it.
Because of the winter, I normally have it every single day outside, but because it's too cold outside, I'm not doing it. I'm waiting for the winter to be over.
Next time I come back, we'll smash it.
Hell
right?
yeah, we're going to smoke the shit.
Oh yeah, I got the shish in one hand. I
Yeah.
got the beer in the other hand, and I'm looking at England, and they're playing so well. And in a moment of just pure euphoria, I said in my genuine football expert calculation in my brain, I'm like, it's coming home. This is the time. They're going to win this World Cup. Finally, they're going to do it. And I messaged my dad, and I messaged my friends, and I messaged my friend who was sitting next to me, and I stood by it after one game. And a few of these people said to me, you're crazy. And so my ego was activated. And so for the entirety of the World Cup, I have been emotionally invested in England finally winning the World Cup after 60 years.
Yeah.
And obviously, they didn't fucking do it because they're shit, and they broke my heart.
Yeah. I got a message from somebody saying, oh, it's going to come home this year. And it's like, I didn't want to say, no, it's not. I don't want to break this person's heart. Right? But the first question I wanted to ask him, what home are we talking about? Why don't you just say it's coming to England this year?
No,
don't say it's coming home. Because if you want to talk about it's coming home, then the home of it really is Uruguay, because they started the whole freaking World Cup to begin with. It was a South American thing, if you want to say home. If you want to call it home.
The World
But
Cup.
the second home of the World Cup, if you think about it, who was the team that won it first 3 times in a row? It was Brazil.
Brazil never won it 3 times in a row.
No, but they won it 3 times.
They were the first team to win it 3 times.
The first team to win it 3 times.
First team,
almost 3 times in a row. It was 58, 62, and then 70.
The first team to win back-to-back World Cups,
was Italy.
my friend, was Italy.
Yeah, I know. 34, 38, which many claim, I don't want to start an argument with here, but many claim it was fixed for political reasons during the whole World War thing going on. But still.
Oh, as opposed to the current one we're in?
Exactly right. You know? So the fixed is still in now, as it potentially was back then. There had been a lot of theories that can almost prove that certain World Cups in the past were fixed to cater to countries that needed it.
I mean, all sports is washing at the end of the day, right?
And I refused. I'm a huge fan of football, huge fan of the World Cup. This year, I didn't watch one single game. To me, it's not a World Cup. It's a Trump Cup.
I really, really, really wanted to be like you.
Yeah.
But it's the World Cup.
Yeah, I know, but dude, I couldn't do it.
You can't.
You know, I couldn't do it.
Because that's why they can get away with this.
Yeah, I know.
Because they have the golden goose. Yeah. This is an unequivocal 10 out of 10 beautiful product, and that's why they can corrupt it in such effective ways, because it's amazing no matter what bullshit surrounds it. Infantino comes out and says 48 teams, and we're like, don't fuck with our product. What do you mean 48 teams? Soon as the World Cup started, 48 teams, make it 72 next time. Make it 100 teams, more World Cup.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
Yeah. I couldn't enjoy it because I just saw it as more of a distraction than anything else. It had too much political influence on the sport itself.
So are you telling me you did not watch Cabo Verde play one time?
No. I saw the highlights later, but I didn't watch it live. But and after watching the highlights, Cabo Verde and Egypt clearly beat Argentina. Sorry, they clearly beat Argentina. Easily. Yeah, and don't get me wrong.
No.
In 2022,
no.
Argentina won that World Cup by merit. This one, I just see. I just see so much bullshit in it.
No,
the
Egyptian coach,
the Egyptian team won.
They had every right to be upset.
No, they won. They won. They were robbed, and Cabo Verde won. They were robbed, and and the foul that they did on England, even though England was shit and they were never going to be Argentina, they still were. They did a lot of unjust things to the players themselves with those tackles.
Okay,
all right. Any other team that would have done that, dude, if this was done in 94, 92, 90, or whatever, straight red cards, straight fouls, man. It's like they're giving them impunity to go crazy.
Can I ask you a question? This podcast comes out in full form on YouTube, yes? Like in a full hour format. But you do clips too, right?
Yes, I do.
You clip it up and you put it out on the internet. What if somebody were to say, man, Majib's got this podcast and he is so political, he is so racist, he is so just whatever, like throw out whatever. Right. And I said to him, what do you mean, man? You don't know that. Have you watched the full episode? No, I've watched the clips only. Yeah. But I know.
Okay.
What would you think of that person?
Unintelligent.
Yes.
He sees what he wants to see.
That's right.
And comment what he wants to comment.
That's right. You just said that from the highlights you could tell that Egypt should have beaten Argentina.
Pretty much.
You didn't watch the whole game.
I didn't watch the whole game.
So you're the same as that guy.
You got me. Okay, you got me. Fair enough, you got me. But you know what? Everybody that I know that did see the game,
yes,
they all said the same thing.
And how many of them are Jippos?
No, none of them.
None of them?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, dude. Just because I'm an Arab doesn't mean all my friends are Arabs and Egyptians or whatever.
I didn't say that. You just did the same thing again to me. You just took my highlights.
No, okay, because I thought you thought that. Okay, never mind. No. Everyone who I speak to, a lot of my friends, they're all football fans.
Yes,
we are fans of football, and yes, we all have our favorite teams. All right, but we look at the game like a critic would look at a movie. All right.
Did you watch the England-Argentina? Or you didn't watch the England-Argentina game?
No, I didn't need to. I'm personally boycotting the World Cup myself by not watching it. I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it for the people who are going through a lot worse than what's going on right now.
I do highly respect that. I really do.
I can't enjoy something. It's not just the World Cup.
Yes.
Outings, birthdays, whatever. I can't enjoy it the way I used to enjoy it, knowing after what's been going on for the last few years. I mean, it's been going on for 7 decades, but the last few years is when it really hit to everybody, and it's undeniable. It's like now they're not even trying to hide it.
Yes.
All right? And it is so painful that like when my son turned 12, there was a video game that he wanted. Son, okay, and I wanted to get in this video game. And then we went to the store, he goes, which game do you want, son? And then when he found out what was going on, he said, Dad, I don't want the game. He goes, how much did the game cost? Oh, it's like, what, $60, son? Give it to Palestine. So he didn't want the video game. He wanted that money that was going to pay for his video game to donate it to Palestine. He broke my heart. I bought him 2 games and we donated.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
Now, I don't know if that was a tactic that my son used to get 2 games, but I could see right through him that he was from the heart. So, he did it. He wasn't a tactic.
Your son is an evil genius.
He was either evil genius or he's very caring. He's caring.
Can I push back on that for a moment? And just so you know, it is my mission on this podcast to make sure you don't get through any of your questions. I'm just going to drag you in different directions.
All right.
So don't stress. But let me ask you something, because it's one of the core sort of tenets of Buddhism, and in amongst a lot of the teachings that I've sort of been privy to after I've become this haughty meditation person. Because I understand that on an empathetic level, and I've been a person like you for a lot of my life. How could I sit here and enjoy this when this is going on? Yeah. And you're hurting for other people. It reveals your empathetic side, your heart, all of these things. However, on a practical level, say if you are unable to reach peace within yourself, there is nothing that you can do to help anybody else. If you do not have proper peace and happiness and benevolence in your heart, your grief, your sadness, your anger on behalf of people that are suffering in the rest of the world does nothing for those people.
No, I know that. I understand that completely. And I did have for a long time inner happiness. I did find my own content.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of people are always talking about where they want to be in the future. They never really enjoy where they are right now. And
Power of now.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, enjoy what you got now. I see, and when we were young, we were always looking to the future, what we're going to have, what we're going to want, and all that kind of stuff.
And then you get to a point where you look only to the past, right? And that's not.
Cause then you ask yourself, where did my 20s go?
Yes.
You were focusing on your 30s when you were in your 20s instead of focusing on your 20s when you were on your 20s.
Yeah, but your 20s are bullshit. 20s the worst time in the world.
I wouldn't say that. That was my favorite time of the decade, but I just could have, and I should have made more of it. But you are absolutely right. You know, just because of what's going on, it shouldn't mean that I can't or shouldn't live my life the way I used to. All I'm saying is...
think about this, for example. Have you seen the photos of the square in Buenos Aires where they're all watching the Argentina game? Now, we can say whatever we want about Argentina.
No, I am not saying anything bad about anybody. All I'm saying is I just think that the influence of the games in this particular World Cup...
Yes.
Right? The games weren't won by just merit alone as it was supposed to be. Well, who is the better team?
I'm going to finish my thought, though.
Yeah, but go ahead.
So... The scenes in Buenos Aires where you the meme is like Taylor Swift could never do what Messi, like it's that kind of shit, right? It's a knock at America, whatever. It's like it's a drone shot of the streets of Buenos Aires where you cannot see a single piece of pavement.
Yeah, I saw
just the people there, right? And irrespective of, you know, the refs and they haven't won on merit and like what's going on and Argentinians are all racist and like whatever.
That's coming out. Yeah.
All of this stuff. Yeah. Like what if you remove all of that, the success of the football team has brought joy to an entire nation's worth of people who are suffering a great deal.
Yeah.
81% unemployment rate. The only Argentinians that have jobs in the world are playing at that World Cup.
Really?
No.
But of course not. You know, who's making the food, man? Who's pumping the gas? I'm sure there's got some people who've got jobs.
But the moment where you thought about it, it was like, wait, hang on.
No, that's not gonna right.
But
you know?
to my point, like I like I said, I fully respect your decision and I fully respect the thought process and the feeling behind it. And I was honestly considering the same thing. Mm-hmm. But it is a thing that, irrespective of the corruption that surrounds it, it is a thing that has a purity that can never be corrupted. Mm. And that's something worth cherishing and that's something worth investing in.
Yeah.
I think.
I totally agree.
And Spain are going to win.
Well, I want Spain to win. I really do want Spain to win. Because I'm supporting the young 19-year-old who just turned 19, the Spanish dude.
Lamine
Yamal, that's the one.
Yeah.
Right? And he's kind of like, he's almost, it's very similar because when Pele turned 17, he won the World Cup. This kid just turned 19 and he's on the verge of winning the World Cup.
Yes.
It's kind of like, you know, young and winning it, you know, it's just...
Kylian Mbappe won the World Cup at 19.
Exactly right. You see, just to see the young ones like that shock the world is a beautiful thing.
I mean, it's not going to be a shock. The Spain are European champions.
Yeah, of course. So, but it's I've seen European champions, La Copa America champions, Confederation Cup champions still lose the World Cup.
That's true. And then, it's the European champions playing against the world champions right now. So it's real.
It's a worthy final.
I don't want it for Lamine Yamal. Fuck him. He's 19. He's got plenty of time. I want it for the grizzled old player who's
we'll see. Well, I still think Argentina's going to win, but
you think Argentina's going to win?
I think the refs are going to swing it that way. Yes. Moving on. Enough World Cup talk because we can have 3 hours of this and I can still talk about it forever. But moving on now. Get rid of this and get rid of this since we missed so much time. All right? Because of your unique genes, did you get bullied by one specific type of Aussie kid, or did you get a well-rounded multicultural bullying experience?
I bought these like a couple of months ago, bro. I was wearing school uniform at school. What do you mean?
Oh, okay. Well, so you had a different kind of childhood that I had. So when you do curse in Greek, Italian, or both?
You just... Okay. I think mostly Greek.
Mm-hmm.
If I stub my... I'll tell you what. it depends on the emotion attached.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I swear emotionally in English at all. If I swear in English, it's an affectation. It's like this fucking guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as a general kind of like frustration, kind of exaltation, whatever, it's Greek. But if I stub my toe, or if something happens and I'm like really like revved up, it's Vafanculo.
Oh, wow.
Straight to Vafanculo.
Okay. I like that. It's like you got a different language for different situations that you're going through.
Yeah, but it's emblematic of my childhood, right? Because the emotions before abject anger were always my mum. It's like whinging your mum, upset your mum, nagging your mum, fuck this your mum. But then rage, it's dad. It's Vafanculo. You know what I mean? That's
That's good. Let's talk about inspirations.
Yes.
Right? Like who inspired you or what inspired you to get into comedy?
Okay. Weed.
Okay, that's an original answer. That's an original answer.
No,
a lot of people mention either a TV show or a comedian or
You don't talk to enough comics.
No, of course.
It's always.
No, I talk to a lot.
Always weed.
You know what? I talk.
Or they're lying.
I've spoken to a lot of comics.
Yeah.
When I first started the whole comedy scene with guests, most of them were Adelaide based.
Right.
All right. And okay, many of them are just as boring as the state. Okay, but some of them do have some kick-ass answers, but not one of them ever said weed.
I will tell you I'll tell you the answer that you were fishing for. So
No. This is an honest answer.
When I was 11, I was sat down in front of a television with my dad and my uncle, and the Eddie Murphy Raw and Delirious DVDs had just come out.
Yeah.
Now that's an answer that everybody seems to give, right? Especially like millennial. That's our bracket.
Yeah. Well, they were great specials.
I'm watching. Then thereafter, stand up is like the most magical thing for me. I'm like watching this one young man just walk around stage, and he has a whole stadium's worth of people in the palm of his hand, and he's just being funny. He's just being silly, which was. I was a funny, silly kid. Mm-hmm. So I just thought it was a magical thing. And then throughout my teenage years, like Carl Barron was releasing all of his DVDs. So watching the Carl Barron DVDs, I would go to watch Il Dago and Who Let the Wogs Out and those shows, right? Because in addition to the DVD boost, Acropolis Now came out on DVD in the mid 2000s. And I was born in 1992, so I didn't watch Acropolis Now when it was on TV. I was too young, but then I watched it on DVD and I'm like, this is the funniest shit ever. So when George Capinaris, Joe Avardi, Simon Palomares, etc. were doing their tour shows and I was a teenager, I went to all of them and I'm like, this is incredible. This is the best shit, because not only was it like the Eddie Murphy stuff that had inspired me, but they were talking about, you know, my life and my upbringing and my culture, and it really built something in me. But I was sent to a selective school in Sydney. Okay. And I was not going to come home to my first generation Italian father and my first generation Greek mother and say, Mom and Dad, I want to be an artist. No fucking way. Absolutely no chance.
But you think they'll be supportive, because you know there's a lot of great artists in both in Greek history and Italian
we
history.
did not pay this much money to send you to that school. For you to be insert any dream that I ever had. So I went to uni, I studied law, I ended up in the insolvency industry. I worked in the insolvency industry for 4 years. I was an unhappy, depressed stoner. Mm-hmm. In the previous years, I had been like, I was still me, and I was invited to do speeches at about 9 to 10 people's 21st.
Okay.
And it wasn't because I was best friends with 9 to 10 people. It was because I'd done it at one of my best friends' parties, and I didn't need notes. I didn't need anything. I just did bits about my friend and killed. And so I had it in my head. I'm like, I know that I can kill to a crowd. I didn't know the verbiage at this point. I didn't know the parlance of the game, but I knew that I could do it. And I was at a point in my life when I'm in my mid-20s, which at that point I thought I was old. And I just ran out of excuses to not give it a try. I'm like, this is my dream. Why not? I don't want to get to 35 and not have given it a try. So I did, and the rest is history. I will say, to bring it right back to the start of your question, what really, really tipped me over the edge, what really, really got me to not only I want to do this, but I want to do it in this way, is by watching all of George Carlin's stuff from the mid 80s when he in his final form, because George Carlin has got like 6 different evolutions, right? Man. And then his final form was cranky, political, religious bashing old man from the 80s until his dying day in the late 2000s. And I found all of his stuff on YouTube. And admittedly, as you know, as a more tenured comic now, you watch it and you're like, yeah, obviously this is 80s and 90s stuff. The joke structure, the writing, it's not, I won't say that it doesn't hold up. It's brilliant. But it's not like, it's not the smooth, it's not the best, you know, it's not the premier kind of stand up as far as craft goes. But in terms of this man was, you know, a renegade for his times. You weren't having people talk on the mainstream on HBO about how religious people are idiots in the 80s. It was crazy.
Yeah.
He's talking about the political situation in America. He's talking about religion. He's talking about the wars. He's talking about in a comedic setting and having people in New York bellowing with laughter and applause, talking about the philosophical aspect of the human experience. I watched it and I just thought, I'm not going to get here, but you know, this is the direction to walk in, because you can use comedy as a Trojan horse. It's probably the most effective one. You disarm people with humor, and then you sneak in the, hey, also, this is how I feel. And this is, and just think about it. Just take this feeling. You're laughing, you're disarmed, your prejudices, your biases, your own sort of predisposition towards having hatred or bigotry or closed-mindedness has been removed to some degree because you're laughing. How about this too? It's why comedy can be very dangerous, but it's why comedy can be beautiful. And I'm not saying that that's what I do. I try. The bare basic job is make them laugh. That's the bare base. That's at the end of the day, we've paid to come and see comedy. We must make them laugh.
Absolutely. You know, you get to see, even when you see George Carlin in his much younger years, like he was in, he also had some appearances in the Ed Sullivan Show. You know, 60s.
Yeah.
You can even see in those early stages that he was always trying to push the boundaries in slow, like little at a time. You know, at first he was your clean cut comedian with a suit and tie.
Yeah.
You know, telling jokes and making people laugh. You know, he got everybody's attention. But you notice that with every year that passes by, he'll get a little bit more controversial, just a little bit. He just push it a little bit.
He went in waves, right?
Yeah.
So he was clean cut, Ed Sullivan Show, and then 70s happened, and he's grown his hair out.
With the 7 dirty words you can't say.
7 dirty words you can't say. Exactly. Shit, piss, cunt, fuck, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits.
Yeah.
And he's got long hair, and he's doing it in the round,
and
it's like
a hipster type person.
And this was the time where, like, he got in so much trouble for that routine. That was the first renegade period where he had his hair long, and he was doing all that stuff. And what I think late 60s is when he started smoking weed, and that's what created that.
Secret to success in comedy is weed smoking. Now, what I really want to ask you is,
hold up,
la 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 la.
Smoke weed every day. We brought it full circle. Every day. Full circle. CB4.
Yeah, you gotta watch it.
I gotta watch it tonight after my show.
Oh, sweet. And I wish I could be there with you so I can see the reaction. Now, okay, so that's how you got into comedy. Now, a lot of people, we all had that desire, whether we want to be comedians or whatever. And we grew up watching what you were inspired by in comedy. A lot of everybody else, many people were also inspired by. Now, a lot of us have the desire. The one thing that we lack, that we wish we did have, is the gift. Now, you obviously had the desire to want to do what it is that you're doing now. When did you realize, you know what, I do actually have that gift? Because many of us wish to have it. Many of us even think we do have it, but we really don't.
Yeah.
You know. So what made you think? What made you convinced that, you know what, I do have something that will work?
Look, I don't know if I necessarily fully agree with that, because any skill with enough care and patience and time put in, you can cultivate and you can develop it to a different degree. You know, some people have a easier starting point or a set of skills that might make it smoother for them. But I don't know if I necessarily agree that you know, you just don't find yourself there. I think if you really have a sort of abject inability. I mentioned it before, but I had already had like I did debating and stuff at school, and I knew that I was funny. I was socially pretty funny if I was comfortable, and I did the speeches at all the 21st, and this was enough for me to go, okay, well, you're speaking in front of a room full of strangers, and you're 20, 21, and it's a daunting proposition, and most people can't do it, at least to a very good degree, and they don't grow out of that. I mean, I'm sure you've been to a lot of weddings and you've sat through a lot of father of the bride's and groom's speeches. That if you ever want to torture some information out of me, brother, strap me to a gurney and make me listen to a father's speech at a wedding. It is like, I don't know why we've not, like, it has to happen. The father has to speak. No, he doesn't. If he's got negative charisma, he does not have to speak. We get it. We know he loves his daughter. It doesn't need to happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, side note. The other thing, which does sort of tie back to the original part of your question, is that you have to have a pretty decent amount of delusion. And I like to say that my journey through doing comedy has been me surfing the Dunning-Kruger scale, whereby at the start I knew nothing and I thought I was hot shit. And the more I've done it, the better I've gotten, obviously.
Yeah.
But the more I'm like, man, I suck at this.
Okay.
This is so, because you learn more about the thing and you learn more about how vast it is and how many levels there are and how many styles and how vast the toolkit needs to be. Like, it's not just one thing. There's so many things happening up there on stage at one time. There's the writing element, the performing element. So I'm here 9 years into it and I'm like, man, I'm going to be doing this for 40 years before I think I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm good. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You know?
It's the journey.
Yeah. It's the most encompassing thing of life, right? You don't want to get to the end.
Yeah.
Because the end is the end. That's
exactly
it.
Right. What's going to happen after that?
I had a shit It wasn't a shit show. It was like, I had a weird thing happen in Melbourne for the Comedy Festival this year where I had my 14 shows and the show was going great. And then for some reason, show 9, 10, and then 11, I think, it was a sequence of 3 shows in a row towards the end of the run, sold out every night. And yet it was work. Right. Every night it was like my opening 15 minutes are designed within the hour to be, hey, you can trust me, I'm funny, we're in good hands, relax. That's what the first 15 minutes of any hour have to be. Guys, you paid for comedy, here's the comedy, relax.
Nice.
And then you can do whatever you want afterwards. For whatever reason, those 3 nights in a row, my first 15 minutes were failing on me. And they had worked Adelaide Fringe, they had worked for the first 10 shows in Melbourne, and I could not compute what was wrong.
Wow.
And I'm walking around Melbourne that
has happened to certain comedians where they had a routine that killed many places, but 1 or 2 places just died.
Yep.
You know, but
same city, same room. Yeah.
But you know, you can't really find the reason why. You know,
you can, but it's not easy. It's not easy to find it. But the point being, I'm walking around the city and I'm fuming, and I bump into this guy I know. Shout out Angus Gordon, great comedian, lives in Melbourne, cool guy, and he's like, bro, you all right? And I'm like, oh, told him this and this, and he said to me, yeah, man. I mean, it's the pokies. We're up every night. Like if it was good, no matter what, if you found a way to perfect it, you wouldn't do it anymore. There's no thrill. You go up because you're like, hey, rolling the dice. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, it doesn't always pay out.
Yeah, and when it doesn't pay out, or I mean, the pokies is an analogy that I don't love for beyond that because I don't see it ever as a detriment. No losses, just lessons. You may not be able to on first instinct compute why things aren't working, But if you do all the things you're supposed to be doing, you record your set, you look back on it, you go through the writing, you kind of examine what's happening within you. I think what happened towards the end of my Melbourne Comedy Festival run is that I was just exhausted and I wasn't bringing the same energy at the start of the show.
Yeah.
And then once it happened a couple of nights in the row, then all of a sudden I'm backstage about to go out and I'm a bit scared because I'm like, they haven't been going well. So I'm bringing that kind of nervous energy out there. It's possible that any of these things might be the case.
Yeah. But isn't fear a good thing though? You know,
Yeah.
You know, I think all artists or performers, they need that in order to perform better than if they didn't have that fear. Because it wouldn't be like overconfidence, being too cocky or something if that fear element wasn't there.
Look, I can't speak to broad. I don't want to speak for other people. But from my personal experience, a degree of fear is good because it has to be important to you.
Yeah, I believe
but
it is.
Too much fear, an audience knows. They don't know it rationally or consciously necessarily. Some of them do. Some of them are very, very discerning. But if you're watching a performer who's not confident, if you're watching a performer who's not sure of what they're doing, the audience loses trust in the performer. And once they don't have trust in the performer, it's very, very hard to get back.
Of course.
And that could come from anything. But then the positive side of that coin is, and the positive side of that coin is like if something goes wrong in the show, so I get a heckler, you hear a siren from out the room, something falls, the mic goes off, something unexpected happens, and you as the comic catch it and make it funny, then they'll trust you double with what they, and then you hear it like, you know, I hear people like non-comedians come to me and they say, we saw this person. I'm like, how was it? And they were like, oh, there was a moment where this happened and he just dealt with it so well. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, that comes from experience. Like that actually doesn't tell me at all about the show and the performance and whatever. But that's the stuff that makes an impression on audiences. That ability to just go, hey, like I didn't just press play on a jukebox here. Something went wrong, but we're cool. It's fine. And that we're cool, it makes people that are sitting there internally go, oh, we're cool. It's cool. And that does something energetically to people.
This is the kind of podcast I love when guests like you just continue to speak, and I love.
Sorry, I haven't given you any.
I'm just saying I love these kind of podcasts, you know, because like this is the first podcast in a long time that I can remember that. Fuck these questions, man. These are, you know, I'm learning more from you with any of these questions that I have yet to ask. Because like whenever I have anybody come over, I need to know about them, you know, be prepared for them, you know, because I want to, I really want to know the person behind the comedy.
Yeah.
You know? And the only question that I have here that's probably worth asking before we introduce In-Sultan, who's going to ask Locascio some questions, is tell me about Pappou.
Okay.
All right? Now, it's about your grandfather, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
All right? So how did he enter your world of stand-up? He must have had one hell of an influence in your life.
I think he did. So this was my last tour show. I wrapped up this tour in February of 2025 in New York, which was the biggest honor I could ever think of. Yeah, it was amazing. It's my Pappou is my great grandfather. He's my maternal grandfather. He came from Greece to Australia when he was 19.
Wow.
He moved to Adelaide, and he was one of the most promising goalkeeping propositions in Greece. He had trials with Olympiacos. He was amazing by all reports, but he was a wild child. He was like rebel without a cause, couldn't be tamed. So his dad in Greece was like, get the fuck to Australia. Can't deal with your shit. But he arrived and instantly Adelaide, Pan-Hellenic Adelaide, it's now Adelaide Olympic, or maybe it's one of the teams, the Greek team, the Adelaide Greek team were like, come and play. And he was instant like celebrity in the Greek community here in Adelaide. When I did Pappou the show here in Adelaide, there were people that came up to me that said, I've got this old book about old Adelaide Greek football on my coffee table at home, and I know your grandfather. I've seen him. Wow. It was mind blowing for me. Long story short is that a couple of years ago he got sick. And this is in the show. You can watch it. It's special on YouTube for free right now if you want, if you're curious at home. Pappou and I, the thing is, I've learned so much more about him as a man since I've done the show, like afterwards. So this stuff isn't really part of the show, and I have different feelings about it all now. But at the time, my grandfather he's like an old Greek man, which is a big generalization, but he goes out he doesn't talk much. He goes out to his garage, he smokes his cigarettes, he has his beer, he comes in, he gives his interlude. We're having a conversation with the rest of the people. He interrupts. He's like, "Hey, don't ever drive with thongs on." And then he walks out. And we never really were able to, we never had a relationship as men. We never had a relationship as adults. I was always a child in his mind. But when he got sick, I don't know what it was. I don't know. It was probably on both ends. I was a little bit more, no, let me breach the defenses. Who are you, bro? You know? And I think he was a little bit more keen to sort of tell me more things about his life. And his life's wild.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is my show. This is going to be the next show. It's going to be the story of his life.
The ultimate tribute.
Well, yes and no, because ultimately what happens in the show, I'll spoil it a bit. I don't think it matters too much, but the show is as much about me as it is about him, because the conclusion for me is that, I'll tell you, it doesn't matter. I'll just say it here. Pappou got banned from football. He was goalkeeper. He played for the Proto Socceroos. Like he reached the top, but then he punched the ref and he got banned for life. Oh, okay. So it all came crashing down, and he basically then, in his mid-20s, with 2 children and a wife, had to live the then struggling immigrant experience. Like, having lived a partial dream, his dream was effectively taken away from him, and then he had to do the immigrant experience, right?
Oh, wow. And
so in my extrapolation of, I'm living my dream and I'm scared that if I want to have a family, that if I want to go through all of the, the normal life things, that I might have to give up my dream like my grandfather did. So the show parallels our lives. And I asked him, what do you think about this thing that I do? What do you like? And he said to me, stop. He said to me, it's too risky. You want to have a family, you got to make money, like all the stuff that the kind of stereotype ethnic grandfather would say. But the conclusion was that he's wrong. And he's wrong because of him. Because the ultimate tribute to that generation, to the generation that had to give up their dreams, to struggle to make money, to put food on the table, the ultimate tribute to that legacy is to live my dream because his dream died. My dream could live because his dream died.
Wow.
So even though he gives me the intellectual wisdom of, no, you got to make money, whatever, like, I know these things. I'm not an idiot. I'm an adult. But I see it differently. I see it not only as possible for me to try and live my dream because of the sacrifices that those generations make, but I almost feel like it's my duty. It's my obligation to just try and do something a little bit more. Like, I've been given this opportunity where I can live a dream and I can give it my all. I'm not an immigrant. I'm not facing the level of racial, ethnic discrimination that they faced at that time. I'm not going to get persecuted for, fuck off wogball or any of that shit. Like, I have the open slather for me to just go for it. So don't I owe it to my grandparents, my parents, to just give it my all?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what Pappou ended up being.
Wow. Well, Locash, I'm going to step out for a few minutes because you're going to be talking to Mr. In-Sultan.
Okay.
And here comes his intro.
He'll ask you a question, it might make you squirm. His guests, if they're smiling, they laugh and confirm. They're puzzled and tickled and can't look away. In-Sultan is coming to ruin your day.
Ahlan wa sahlan, assalamu alaikum. It is time now for the Sultan. Today I have the ant honey. Locascio. Locomotion. Beautiful name. I'm going to call you Pappou. What do people normally call you?
Zub.
Zub. Zub is a word in Sultanabad.
Is it?
Yes. Zib means, zib is what is the smell that comes out of a camel when it has its discharge. That is what zib. Oh, wow. You that zib. Yeah, so you know some Sultanabad, huh? Yeah, we want to talk Sultanabad?
Of course, I did my research.
Oh, fantastic. You know. You can make fun all you want. That is not the only way we make our monies. You know, Zib is the odor perfume we sell to all the Kardashian wannabes in Beverly Hills.
Where?
In Beverly Hills, the perfume.
Where?
Zib. Beverly Hills.
Which is where?
Beverly Hills. In the hills, Beverly. In the hills of Beverly, where the Kardashians live.
Is this your home?
No, my home is here now in the Magic Hours basement.
I don't know these Beverly
Hills. Beverly Hills.
I've never heard of this before.
You've never seen Beverly Hills Cop with Charlie Murphy? Beverly Hills.
I'm sorry, I'm really confused.
Anyway, moving on, Mr. Zib. You are half Greek, half Italian.
No.
You're not. Where did I get this information from? This is bullshit. Because somebody told me you are half Zoba the Greek and half purposely falling down to get penalties in football.
That would make me Brazilian.
No. They just cry when they fall. You actually get the penalties when you fall. Like what Messi's doing.
Is Beverly Hills in Brazil?
Beverly Hills Ninja, Beverly Hills Cop, Beverly Hills Hillbillies.
Hang on, I know what you're talking about now. It's he used to play for Barcelona. Beverlinha. He was a forward. He was Brazilian. I think he dated one of the Kardashians. That must be what you're talking about.
More or less, yes. The thing is, we don't just make money from oil. We sell the zip.
Who's we?
The Sultanabadians. I'm a Sultanabadian. Yeah. So how they imagine? Who did you get me here? This. Anyway, that's moving on. Either way, people like you have a flair for the theatrics.
People like me?
Yes, the Greek Italian, no?
I'm Australian. My passport is Australian. I'm born in Australia. My parents are both born in Australia. I don't know what you're getting at.
Neither do I. Okay, moving on. This sucks because somebody told me that you have heritage of Italy and Greek.
Heritage?
Upbringing.
Football heritage?
Not just the football, the food, the culture, the music, the zorba, all of this.
Who told you this?
Internet tell me this.
The internet?
Internet tells me this. Internet is wrong?
What?
Talking about going off script, I don't even have script no more. So, Mr. Zib, I have no idea what to ask you. Wait. Is it true though? Is it true that you have 10 days silence? You go somewhere and not talk for 10 days, like mediate. You do that?
Mediate?
You know, mediate. You sit down, close your eyes, and you think.
Sorry. I've been confused this whole time. I've misunderstood the premise. Sorry. Can we start again? Sorry. I've completely misunderstood what's going on here. Sorry. I was.
You're not very educated, man.
I was a hostage negotiator, but none of them ever went for 10 days. I've never mediated for 10 days with a hostage negotiation. I used to negotiate for hostages. Yes.
Somebody taking mediate people hostage.
No, I was mediating there was an issue between the hostages. I'm a public speaker, so because the police are all inebriated, illiterate pigs, they couldn't communicate with the hostage negotiator, so they would bring me in as the orator to mediate the release of the hostages. But
I'm confused. If you are the hostage negotiator doing all this speaking, how can you do the speaking when you were supposed to be silent all this time? I thought you were going...
No. The hostages weren't allowed to speak because they would have distracted the captors. Is that what you mean?
Not really. But keep going. This is interesting stuff. This is much better than what I've got right over here. So, did you save these hostages?
It wasn't my job. I was the mediator. I'm just using your word.
Mediate is when somebody sit down and they concentrate and they think of nothing and say nothing. Isn't that what mediating is?
That's meditating.
Yeah. So yeah.
I've never done that in my life.
Not for 10 days?
No. The negotiations went for 2 days and then they released the hostages with very few casualties.
Where was this taking place?
New York.
Another reason not to go to the States, New York. But you are comic. You make funnies, right? You get on stage, you tell jokes. That's what you do.
Are you making fun of my profession as a hostage mediator? You're insinuating that it's funny.
No, I am asking you, do you do comedy? Do you do funnies on stage?
These are people that are in really precarious, difficult positions.
Well, did you at least make them laugh before they come to their ends?
It was my job to save their lives.
Through comedy?
Through mediating with some very, very dangerous individuals with a lot of mental health issues.
I think I'm going to have a mental breakdown myself. Well... Okay, so I have some very wrong information that I'm going to kill somebody about. So you don't meditate, you mediate. You don't tell jokes, you save, supposedly. Did you save their lives?
Yes. I said there were very few casualties.
Few casualties?
Yes.
Casualties?
Very few.
Casualties. Like they died casually or they were... What is casualty?
There were very few casualties.
Like how many casualties?
Only one.
So if there's only one casualties, then why'd you put the E's in E? Isn't it singular, not plural?
I don't think you count the other one.
Uh-huh. Well, Mr. Zib, this was interesting. But... yeah, it was interesting. Thank you very much for your time, and try not to go too much. And if you can save more lives, then Allah ma'ak. God be with you. Okay? Okay. Mr. Zib, everybody.
In-Sultan is coming to ruin your day.
Okay. So, Anthony, I've got some existential questions I'd like to ask you. I like to always go deep. In the podcast to get to the roots. I like to get spiritual a little bit.
Well, it's about time.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's a spiritual experience, man. It's not just your ordinary podcast where you just blah, blah, blah along and get nowhere. Let me start with an easy one that I like to ask many people just to see where your mind goes. Anthony, what happens when we die?
We die.
Fantastic. That's exactly the right answer. Now, you spent your whole career turning your identity into a punchline for other people's entertainment. Kudos. Do you actually know who you are when there's no audience and no joke to make?
You got to keep that. That's brilliant. That's like...
Well, in her defense, we did go past 2 o'clock. It's okay. I'll put it in later. Just close the door. I kept this in at the request of Mr. Anthony.
Hi. Hello.
Yes. How unprofessional does this look right now?
You said, who are you when no one else is watching? And then there was a knock at the door. He will knock twice.
That is kind of spooky.
Yeah.
Do you think my mother's here to come and collect?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. This went from existential to spooky really fast and unprofessional. I feel like it's such an amateur right now. Okay, but I'm keeping this in as a professional. Okay, you still don't fully know. Oh no, wait, that's not the question. Okay,
That was a statement. You
Yes,
don't know.
Yeah. Okay, we talked about this briefly. Now, your grandfather's story became one of your biggest shows. One day, someone might tell your story the way you told his. What do you want that story to say about how you handled this year?
This year? This last year?
Yeah. During the whole Pappou.
The Pappou thing was the Pappou thing ended February 2025.
Oh,
So is that the year? Is that the year you're referring to?
Yes,
the Pappou?
I'm guessing so. Yes.
How I handled the Pappou year?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Look, I would like to hope, and it felt to a degree that this was the case, that I was able to tell a unique immigrant story that still managed to touch people irrespective of their own particular ethnic background. In some kind of a way. You know, this is a weird. This is not an orthodox immigration story. My grandfather was sort of welcomed as a hero very quickly because he was good at a sport, which is not the typical immigrant experience. But then he had to then transform his life to be a bit more of the typical immigrant experience. And I think, you know, that uniqueness is something that does resonate because the typical immigrant experience doesn't actually really exist. Having said that, what's more important to me, and this is something that I try as hard as I can to do all the time, is I got to be really careful with how I word this. If I come at comedy from the perspective of somebody that has Italian and Greek heritage, but I don't make my material about being Italian and Greek. I make it about an experience that we all share as humans, that my Italian and or Greek experience has shaped in this particular way. Then it's not an in-joke. It's not a joke where it's like, hey, you only have to be Italian or Greek, otherwise you don't get this. It's not that thing. It's the kind of joke that Italians and Greeks will love because they can resonate. And then anybody who doesn't fit into those ethnic categories is not alienated. But instead, Italian and Greek people are then humanized to them because it's like, oh, they have their version of that, whatever that is. That resonates with me because I'm a human. Italians and Greeks have that version. Therefore, those people are more humanized, more accessible to me. Therefore, in some way within me, Italians and Greeks, they're all right. That's what's important to me. The opposite, which is a form of comedy that exists in the world, whether we're talking about ethnic-based or otherwise, is that kind of identity comedy that's exclusive, that's exclusionary. It's like, I belong to this group of people. This group of people be like this, and we do be like that. And if you're not laughing, then it's not an experience that you've had and you don't get it and you're excluded. Irrespective of what group we're talking about, that kind of comedy, I've definitely been guilty of doing jokes that are like that in the past, for sure. We're learning, but that's not what I want to do. I want to do material and do shows and do jokes and do work that, I'm never going to not represent Italian and Greek Australians.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to be a representative of the human experience while, proudly waving those flags, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
So to answer your question in the longest way, if there's going to be somebody who talks about my year of doing Pappou or whatever, like talks about me and my work in any way, I would first of all hate it. But second of all, I would like to think that a fraction of that I just said is interpreted, and it's not. It's not always. A lot of Greek and to a lesser extent Italian Australians think that I'm a self-hating wog and that I.
Is that such a thing?
Yeah,
Are there self-hating wogs out there?
I'm sure there are.
My God,
Our prime minister's one.
Oh, okay, well, that's a great example now, isn't it? Well, but when you get into politics, you're no longer what you are.
Sure.
Sure. You have to be part of that system.
Well, what came first, the getting into politics or the no longer knowing what you are?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, see, wow, we're getting more existential and philosophical with this podcast.
But no, there are people.
But I've never heard that phrase. I've heard self-hating Jew. I've heard self-hating. I've never heard self-hating wog.
Absolutely, and I think on some level most wogs are self-hating, right? Because there's very much we're going to tear each other down. The gossip that exists is like and everybody knows like this person lives in this suburb and they're cousins with this person and they own this car and they used to own these chemists in this suburb and they make this much money and they spent this much on that. Like, why are these such important considerations within a community? But they are because we need to just always be on our guard. And the flip side of that is very much prevalent. We do support each other. We do bring each other up. But there needs to be what's the word I'm looking for? You need to be selective, because there are a lot of people that by virtue of their ethnicity, they will accept a turd if it has a Greek flag in it.
Oh, God.
And you say, oh, God, but I'm sure there are Lebanese people with the same thing. They're just their ethnic pride is such a big part of their overall identity that they cannot see beyond that. And I like to say that your ethnic identity can act either as your ethnicity can either act as a strong base on which you can build whatever identity you want in whatever direction. You can grow a garden in whatever way you want, or your ethnic identity can be a prison for your identity, and it can keep you trapped. And no, we have why are you homophobic? Because I'm Greek, eh? Why do you hate those people? Why are you saying that? I'm Italian, of course we got it, bro. Sorry, what? Where does it say in the ledger of being of this ethnicity that you have to have these archaic beliefs and hateful philosophies? It doesn't, but it's a community thing. And so when I call this shit out, if I, for example, like the big one recently is that I'm making fun of all the Greeks that are upset that the Christopher Nolan Odyssey doesn't have any Greek actors.
Yeah, I saw that.
Guys, it's a thousands of years old work of fiction that is being made by it's an interpretation, it's art, it's being made by one of the greatest filmmakers of all time without even having seen the film. They're like, boycott, no Greeks in the movie. Which Greek actor is good enough to play in the top level film?
Yeah, put Nick Giannopoulos and George Kapanias in the film, and then we'll see how far we can go.
George is a great actor.
No, he's great.
George would kill it.
George will be a great actor, but I see what you're saying. It's not. I mean, Anthony Quinn played Zorba the Greek, and Anthony Quinn wasn't Greek.
But there was no social media back then.
Yeah, but still, exactly. But that's what actors do. They act the part.
That's right.
You can get a crippled person to play a crippled person, but wouldn't you rather have a professional actor to play a crippled person?
Depends. If the professional actor was a cripple as well, then great. Like you two in one, right? And if there were, anyway, we agree. We agree. You and I are on the same page with this. But my calling it out on social media, I am you shitting on your own fan base. You're rage baiting. You're just trying to I'm getting these comments. It's like, why would I do that? Why would I do this? Is my genuine opinion. If you don't agree, that's okay. But I'm not shitting on Greekness. I don't hate Greeks. It's just insane. But it's a byproduct of the way we are as a society, and it's a byproduct of what social media does to people. Exactly. You know when you're behind the wheel, you're in the car, you're driving, and you're not conscious of the fact that the people that are in the cars around you are also human beings. You just honk and you fuck this guy and whatever. The car basically creates a force field around your humanity. Social media does the same thing.
Okay, Anthony, we have reached the conclusion where I'm going to ask you a series of 10 short questions where I would like to get 10 straight answers.
10 short answers?
Well, up to you. But these are short answers anyway.
Okay.
This is the questionnaire made famous by James Lipton, if you know who he was. He had the show Inside the Actors Studio.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, and I can never mention James Lipton without mentioning the journalist that he most admired, a Frenchman named Bernard Pivot. So here we go. Anthony, what is your favorite word?
This is awesome. Tautology.
That's interesting. Good. What is your least favorite word?
No.
What turns you on?
Power.
What turns you off?
Misuse of power.
Very well said. What is your favorite curse word?
Cunt.
What sound or noise do you love?
Farts.
Frank Latito said that. What sound or noise do you hate?
Crying.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Clinical psychologist.
What profession would you not like to do?
Comedy.
Yeah, I think it'd be great at that. Now, finally, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly
This
gates?
is so amazing. This is like you've pulled a fantasy out of my. Oh my God, I wasn't expecting this. This is great. If heaven exists, what would you like God to?
What would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates? The suspense is killing me.
I'm just trying to word it properly. Everybody struggles their first go round.
And they do. Very well said. Well, there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of The Magic Hour. I've been your host, Magic Dairy, a.k.a. MagicLeb. Follow me on my Instagram at Fame Film Agency and click that subscribe button on my YouTube at Magic Dairy. And follow Mr. Anthony Locascio straight out of Locash. And he's going to watch CB4 tonight after his show. And best of luck on your show tonight. Thanks for being here. And when you become rich and famous and you win an Oscar for Best Comedian Ever, please come back here and put it right in front between the other two trophies that I have.
Sounds
for
good.
display.
Sounds good, sir. Thank you so much for having me on. It's a pleasure.
Anytime. And thank you all for watching. Take care.
I'm broke, bitch.